from vision, design coding, how everything, all the different states are connecting together. So a lot focusing on permeability. I can see how you could add lots of legibility to that. We didn't talk much about legibility, but I can see that. The road is an issue because it's extremely expensive. I don't know how it is today in Brazil, but in the UK nothing gets buried anymore because the price of burying something costs more than anything else you're going to put on top. So it's just a forbidden thing. The economic situation doesn't allow to bury not even a car park. And burying such a massive road is just not, I don't know. I don't think that's a feasible thing. Elevating it, I also can't see that happening because I know in Porto Alegre this elevated motorways or large roads, and it just creates a horrible impact on the surrounding areas. The noise on the flats overlooking that would be horrible. The view is horrible around. So, I mean, that requires more study. We have lots of people now in the UK trying to redesign proper motorways, yeah? Because they segregate communities. So usually we have the cities, and then we have the ring roads, like Parte, for example, and then we have the other residential areas, and those people are totally segregated. It's really difficult to cross. So there's some studies already. I even have a student I supervise for his MA. I can send if you are ever interested in that, on how to put this type of roads on the same level as everything else, and how to redesign that bit so that it becomes, as I said yesterday, part of the network of public open spaces, but you design in a way that the car feels as if it's somewhere else, in a square or something. So there are examples in Slovenia. There's one main node in Slovenia, I don't know if anyone knows about that, where you have everything designed as together like shared space. So it works really well, it's very busy, works really well. Exhibition roads used to be super busy, now it's much quieter, slightly different in character, but could be an example. And other examples. But I think burying or elevating is still focusing on design for the car.
It's a very radical force to be rethinking. So if you have to pass there, so it has to be integrated to the space and not maybe under, over, or
and if they're not happy,
another way to.
Yeah. And then hopefully
or don't pass there. Or,
yeah, exactly. If they're not happy, tough.
Yeah.
We have the phenomenon, there's lots of people writing about traffic evaporation. So Oxford is an example. It's impossible to get to the city centre by car. Really difficult. Whatever. They make it even more difficult. There are some public transport that's kind of good, It's not the best. Everywhere is very small, everyone can walk or cycle, or they don't care. They just make it really very difficult. So, and I think that's not making it difficult, it's just changing the priorities. It's still allowing cars to go through, but when they get there, they will be invited to that space rather than having the right to the space. I'm not saying it's the solution, and it's not the case, but it's something that if you get curious about this subject, you could have a look. I do have an MA on that, so I could send it.
Good.
But the whole coding, I think it's excellent. It's proper coding, that's what you would expect. And then the architects would get those rules and develop, and I don't know if the shape will be this or that. That's for the semester. I think it's, again, the three groups that presented, I think they're excellent, and they did a fantastic amount of work and came up with all the best ideas and celebrating the community, which I think that it's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, I will talk also about the road. And I think that, as I remember, there was a different level, at least at this part of the grid. On the, like this, those blocks, the lower blocks, like these two, I think it seems like the streets are going up as you go in that direction. I don't know, my idea is that instead of going down, you could go up with the grid. So that you wouldn't have to dig so much, and then you could have like a different level, because
Like the other groups. So
yeah.
Two levels.
And I think there are other things from that group that are interesting, but because I really like the idea of continuing with the grid, because I think that's a way that you wouldn't have a different structure for them, so it's easier to integrate with the community once you have the same typology and the same structure. So the grid would be very important to continue. But you mentioned that you are trying to step back as you go towards the sea.
Yeah.
And I think that public space would make more sense if it would be on that side. Yeah. Because you have a lot of public space next to the sea as well. So you really don't need the square over there. But it would be better if you would have like stepping back and then you ending up with the square similar to the previous group. Because then you would have the public space really connected to the sea. And
I think one of the reasons for the location of the square is that we were trying to kind of integrate them with
The
here
other
as well.
side, yeah.
To kind of-
so the square
would
would
be
be
beneficial
the
not only
transition.
for the development but also for the existing as well. So to try and sort of get more integration and less segregation between the two different almost classes and people there at the moment.
And also to bring activities to here, because here is the institutional building, and here also it's a little closer, so to bring a connection. So it's just square here, it's in the middle of the neighborhood, so another square.
Would we also be part of the green spaces of the fabric? Yeah, or it could be inserted on the system. It could not be like this big or maybe smaller or whatever, but
But since you have a lot of public space, maybe that square wouldn't be that busy as you want to, because people would maybe prefer to go closer to the sea than to that square.
But also because it goes over, so whether you couldn't have, like it's another solution, maybe you could, yes, have here also a building and then this road crossing.
and we try to have this circuit, like have one thing here and another here, and then the crossways that they connected to the circuit and connect to.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you would have to raise the grid, the building up, then it would be also interesting to have this above, and then you go somehow, you have to go somehow like toward the sea level, and then that's where it would be a way for this transition. And the other thing is that if you think that road could go above or up, doesn't matter, it would make more sense to have, since you don't have that road in that direction, to try to use the same concept in that other part, because the impact that this road will have in this part of the neighborhood would be the same as that one. So you could plan, like, if you go up and then maybe you could go up all the way down, because really most of the cities that have the road above the grid, they are trying to lower that. So that doesn't really make sense to make a road now above the grid. But I think it could be, if you really have a road there, maybe to go somehow trying to have some possibility to go up, and then to have this like a promenade above the sea level, and somehow to, because it's really a lot of noise, and what they want is really a fast road. So it's a difficult thing to integrate with this kind of neighborhood. So maybe if there is a way, since there are some streets, because I think that the center part of the grid is above, because I remember going up and down there. So if you go up again, then I think it would be a way to diminish the impact and have somehow this public space protect the impact of the road. But I also think that it's a lot of work that is done, and it's interesting that you present a lot of design ideas and contributions for the neighborhood.
Excellent. Thank you.
I really like the idea of like having irregular shaped things that people can pass, because that was something that I was thinking of. Like someone passed me when we were in the middle of an hour, fell off a step. So it'd be a really good idea to actually have that place. And as well, like you could lean against it and stay there and wait for someone without actually obstructing the path as well.
And also you can have the doors of the buildings on those spots a little bit behind the facade.
I also think it adds variety to the use of the public open space. It can add, because if you want to, put the chair outside and use the space in a different way, so you're creating some more diverse.
I really like the way that it created the blocks and the buildings make the blocks. This is something that brings kind of vitality to the streets. And also like when you escalonate the building, makes it quite interesting, and you have like the interior area, interior open space. It's really interesting.
That's what we wanted to try and achieve. I mean, we know that they have their private space at the moment, and it's important to incorporate public space, but it's also very important for them to have their own little bit as well. And I think to remove that would be losing their identity. So even though we wanted public space to be accessible, we also wanted them to have their own little retreat as well, so to speak.
Anyone else? Tirar tomate, ninguém atira mais o preço do tomate, não.